Okay, we're going to start off with these programs or these problems, I should say, by starting with the axis of symmetry. So we're going to take the b value, which is negative 12, but we're also going to make it the opposite of negative 12. So we're going to make it a positive 12. And then I'm going to put it over 2 times whatever my a value is. So my a value is 3. So 2 times 3. And I'm going to go ahead and do 2 times 3 on the bottom, and I get 6. And then on top I have 12. And then I'm going to take 12 divided by 6, and I get 2. So this is going to help us in that it's going to give us an idea of where all our numbers when graphing these are going to be based around. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go ahead and put a 2 over here. And I know that that's where everything is going to be based off. So now the next thing is to find the vertex, which is also going to give me my y value in my table. So what I'm going to do, I already know that my x value is going to be 2. And the vertex is the lowest or highest point on my graph. So I'm going to take 3 times 2 squared minus 12 times 2 plus 6. So 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 3 is 12. 12 times 2 is negative 24 plus 6. So then I have 12 minus 24 is negative 12 plus 6 is going to give me negative 6. So either my highest or my lowest point in this graph is going to be at 2, negative 6. Okay, so now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to continue to fill in points for this. And I know that because the axis of symmetry is 2, if I think about it in my mind, it's where that line, where all my points are going to get bigger or smaller from that, so, which is kind of nice. So I'm going to choose points around here. So I'm going to do a 1 and a 0. And then I'm going to go on the other side of my 2 and put a 3 and a 4 in. Now the very nice thing about this is if I find my 0 and my 1, I don't have to do the work for my 3 and my 4. Because they're going to be, it's a reflected point, it's going to be the exact same answer as what I get from my other ones. So I'm going to go ahead and plug in 1 for x. A little too high on my board there. Okay, so 1 times 1 is 1, times 3 is 3, minus 12 plus 6. 3 minus 12 is negative 9, plus 6 gives me negative 3. So I'm going to put in a negative 3 here, and I'm going to put in a negative 3 here. Now I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing, and I'm going to put in my zeros. So 3 squared minus 12 times 0 plus 6. So 0 times 0 is 0, 0 times 3 is 0, minus 12 times 0, which is 0, plus 6. So I'm going to get a plus 6 here, and I'm also going to get a plus 6 here. Okay, so now I'm ready to go ahead and graph. I've got enough information on this to go ahead and graph at this time. So I'm going to go ahead and graph my points. So at 0, 6, I'm going to put a point. At 1, negative 3, which is going to be probably about right there. 2, negative 6. And then again, like I said, that axis of symmetry, this is my axis of symmetry. It reflects over that point so that I can go ahead and start graphing my dots the same distance away from there. And I have my graph, so I can go ahead and do my U shape. Okay, because this is a U shape, we know that it has a minimum value Now, if it was going in the other direction, if it was making like a frown face, that would be a maximum value. So it has a minimum, and what we gotta look at is what is that minimum point? So the lowest it goes is this point right here, which we already know according to this is a minimum of -6. Okay, the domain just means where on this X can this graph be and not be. So in that case, what it's going to be is
we
all
need Dominic
rows
Beatrice to the front office, please. Dominic Beatrice to
from
the front office.
my domains.
Thank you.
The only time the domain is going to be anything different is if we tip that U shape on its side. So for the range, what it's going to be is we're going to do Y is going to be greater than or equal to, so that means it's going to be bigger than, so since it's a U shape, it's going to be bigger than, and now if it goes facing down, you're going to use the less than sign. So then whatever this point is here, which we said was at -6, was our lowest point.